Hola moteros, it's Chris Cope, and this beautiful thing is the 2026 CFMoto 1000 MTX, and I am one of the very first people in the United Kingdom to be riding this bike. I know that I am because its official UK launch doesn't happen until next week. It's going to officially launch at ABR, but I've gotten my hands on one because I'm doing an article on the bike for Visor Down, and I thought I'd tell you about that. So I'm going to be taking this bike from Wick to Wick. So Wick, England is a village on the southern coast. It's not really a village anymore. It hasn't been a village for about 125 years. It's just part of Littlehampton, but it used to be a village. And it's about a mile and a half from the sea or something like that. And then I'm going to ride it all the way up to Wick, Scotland. If you've ever done the Land's End to John O'Groats, you may have passed through Wick. It's kind of the last sizable town before you get to John O'Groats. It's about, I think it's about 15 miles from John O'Groats, something like that. From Wick to Wick is about 720 miles. And the plan is to do it on the 21st of June. That is the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. And that is tomorrow. And so the sun rises at 4:48 a.m. in Wick, England, and it sets at about 10:22 p.m. in Wick, Scotland. And so that's roughly 17 and a half hours to ride 720 miles. If you live in the United States, you're like easy peasy. But if you live in the United Kingdom, you know that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. But Google says drive time is about 13 hours. I'm gonna gamble and say 14, and so I'm giving myself 3 hours across that whole distance off of the bike, you know, to kind of go to the bathroom, have tea, eat, that all that kind of fun stuff. So it's going to be very, very challenging because I normally like to take really long stops, and I really like to take my time, but I am going to have to hustle. But I think it's going to be fun. I am traveling as light as possible, so I've just got my Kriega US 30 bag, and I've got everything packed. And so the plan is at 4 in the morning tomorrow, I'm going to come get the bike, drive down to Wick, and then take off from there. So join me on the adventure, kids. Well, here we are. This is Wick Hall in Wick, England. It has just turned 4:48 a.m. Actually now, because I've been taking pictures, it's 4:53 a.m. So I need to get going. That guy's got to be confused by what I'm doing. But anyway, here's Wick, England. It's not much to write home about. Don't put it in your tourist books. But yeah, the sun has just risen. There's the bike. It's about 720 miles or so to Wick, Scotland. I'm feeling okay. I've got a slightly funny tummy, but I'm hoping that that's going to be resolving itself very, very soon. All right, I need to stop talking. I need to start going. Okay, well, I've arrived at Cherwell Valley Services. Done about 120 miles so far. I'm feeling all right. The seats could be a little bit more comfortable, but it's all right. Cruise control working really well. Making pretty good time. I'm a little bit tired, but hopefully I will perk up here. I'm gonna get myself some food and kind of stretch my legs and everything. So yeah, I think I'm doing all right. Yeah, no real complaints about the bike. Like I say, it's a little bit uncomfortable, and I question the odometer because it says I'm going 78 miles an hour. I don't think I'm actually going that fast. I think I'm probably going closer to like 72, 73. Anyway, here's a press, and I'm gonna get some food. Well, here I am at Keele Services. I've just finished eating breakfast. I'm feeling fresh for the most part. I'm a little bit concerned about the seat, whether that's gonna remain comfortable for the next 500 miles, but there's only one way to find out. But apart from that, I'm largely okay. The screen is interesting. There's kind of a thing about the screen that it's a little bit too small. And I have this theory, well, I noticed that the screen works a little bit better if I push all the way forward. So I put my my gentlemanly bits right next to the tank, right? And so that makes me think that if I was a shorter rider, that the screen would work a little bit better. And without wanting to sound stereotypical, I suspect that that is an aspect of the fact that they have Chinese test riders, right? So again, not wanting to sound stereotypical, I know there are tall Chinese people, but on the whole, generally, they're a little bit shorter. Sorry, I got lost. and I'm talking as I'm walking past people. It's very rude. But anyway, so yeah, make of that what you will. Anyway, the other thing that's kind of quirky about the bike, I've done my first fuel stop for the day already, is there isn't really a proper fuel gauge on the bike. There's just this kind of thing that tells you that you have more than half a tank, and then it tells you that you have, more than 111 miles, but it doesn't tell you exactly how many or exactly how full your tank is. It's just you have to wait until you get to half a tank and 111 miles, and then everything's fine. So it's kind of quirky in that sense, but apart from that, like I say, the bike is doing really well. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm not gonna complain. I'm having a good time. Look at this. Look how pretty this is. This is just off of Tebay Services. So the way that I'm pointing, I think that's sort of out that way is the Lake District, and then here is the Services, and then over in the other way is the Yorkshire Dales. And obviously, because I'm right between the Yorkshire Dales and the Lake District, is very, very busy, but it's also very, very pretty. Had a few thoughts as I was riding along, not really motorcycle related thoughts, just life thoughts. First one, I guess it's motorcycle related in a sort of a way, is boy, British people sure love being in the middle lane. Don't ever use that far left lane. Just stick in that middle lane, and then you'll just go whatever speed the person in front of you is going, right? So it's like you'll slow down to 60 miles an hour if the car in front of you is going 60 miles an hour. You won't go around. You won't use the passing lane. You won't be in the slow lane. You just stay in there, and then as soon as somebody gets out of your way, you pick up, you go 800 miles an hour until you get up and can tailgate somebody else. It's very interesting, allowing other people to decide you're driving for you. The other thing I was kind of thinking is, isn't it interesting, the human animal, our desire to do things like this, right? This wick to wick idea. This isn't particularly novel or interesting. Loads of people have gone further and done lots of different things. But it's very human to want to just travel distance for the sake of traveling distance, right? The sake of traveling. I'm not aware of any animals that do that. I mean, like I said, I'm not aware. There might be, maybe ospreys, right? Because they've got like a hunting radius of like hundreds of miles. Maybe ospreys and their little eagle brains are like, yeah, I could hunt here, but also, dude, I've got wings. I can fly to France. As far as I'm aware, it's just us. And isn't it interesting that it's just us, that we have this desire to go and to see and to experience constantly. I wonder what that says about us. It's probably why we're everywhere around the world, because it's got this innate desire to explore. Well, it is 2:04 p.m. and it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm in Scotland now. I made it to Scotland. This behind me is Abington Services, but it's not a very pretty backdrop and not a very pretty foreground, to be perfectly honest. So sorry about that. But yeah, it's going really well. The ride is going well. It's going so well that I'm having this thing that often happens to me whenever I'm riding a new bike, which is in my head I think, how could I buy one of these? Which is quite the turnaround for a guy who is cynical about Chinese bikes, that I'm just sitting here going, how could I finagle my finances such that I could buy one of these 1000 MTXs. It's that good, I'll be honest. I mean, it's got some quirks. Most of my criticisms, though, are with the way that CFMoto chooses to display things. So the actual bike, really well balanced, just stable as anything, reasonably comfortable as it can be whenever you're just sitting all day long. Could use better weather protection, all those kinds of things. I wish there was kind of a more touring version of this bike, but great engine, really enjoyable. The cruise control works really well. It's nice and smooth. Can't say that about the QJ Motor stuff that I've ridden. So yeah, I mean, it's going really well, and it is sunny in Scotland, which is very, very rare. So I better get back on the road here. I just spotted this. Got to be careful not to overfill the tank on this thing. It's very precious. It just spills out if you overfill. It's hard not to overfill, but yeah, there's some wasted money. Well, I'm stopped in the middle of nowhere on the A9. Perfectly happy doing that. I was intending to stop at some services that was right outside of Perth, but I don't know, I couldn't find it, and I didn't feel like searching for it, so I just carried on up the A9 toward Inverness. Got plenty of fuel, got water in my bag. I didn't really need to stop at a services. There are signs all along the road that say frustration can cause accidents, and I was close to having an accident of a different kind, because I had intended to just kind of find a lay-by with a place to, you know, enjoy the scenery. But it took quite a while for me to find one of those places. So this lay-by is kind of 20-30 miles from Perth. So yeah, I was very relieved whenever I finally found this particular lay-by. But now that I've sorted myself out, had some water, and had a look around, it's very beautiful, man. It's just gorgeous. It's so, I'm so lucky to do what I do. So this is my sexy setup for dinner. It reminds me a little bit of one time whenever I was riding to Prague with Harley Davidson, and their plans went a little bit awry, and so all of us ended up eating Burger King in a hotel parking lot. Very similar to this. So I had planned to have a cheeky Nando's, but the Nando's is only doing takeaway, so I'm just sitting outside of a Costa. Costa, there we go. I'm about 111 miles away from Wick, and it says it's about 2 and a bit hours. So I think I'm doing all right. Just gonna eat some food and get back on the road. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna make it to Wick before sunset. It is presently 9:22 p.m. and according to Google Maps, Wick is just 11 minutes away. 11 minutes drive. One little problem you might notice, I'm walking down the middle of the road. That is because, I don't know if you can see back there, they are they're doing construction on the road, and they've completely shut down the road, and they allow escorted sort of caravans through the works once an hour. And so I'm going to have to wait until 10 p.m. until I'm able to go. And like I say, it's presently 9:23. Now the sun actually sets at 10:22, so I think I am still gonna make it to Wick on time. But I can also take pride in the fact that look how pretty this sunset is. Get me out of this shot. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Yeah, and it's been a good ride. It's been a really good ride up here. It's getting a little bit cold, so I'm kind of happy to stop. Make sure nobody's coming to run me over. Yeah, kind of happy to stop. I'll go make friends with the other people who are stuck waiting to get to Wick. This is fun. Okay, well, I made it. I have already checked into my hotel, and I'm here in Wick. My hotel is over there. It's the Norseman Hotel, but this is a prettier view. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Once they let us through, then I hightailed it, and there was some guy who just, I don't know, had to stick up his tail end, and so he shot off, and I thought, I'm gonna chase that guy, and I chased him to a speed that I won't disclose, but it's nice to know that the bike can go fast. And then I just was like, never mind, I'll ease up. And then suddenly I was here in Wick, and I arrived at 10:19 p.m. and I checked my BBC app, and the sun set here at 10:24 p.m. Although right now it is 10:50 p.m. and it sure looks like the sun's still up, but officially the sun set at 10:24. I got here at 10:19, so I did it. I rode from Wick to Wick, 720 something miles. I don't know exactly how many, because there's the QJ Motor has the same sort of a thing, this quirk where once it gets past what would be 1,000 kilometers in miles, so that's like 600 something or other miles, it just resets. And so it did the same thing on this CFMoto. So I looked at my mileage, and it's like, you've gone 180 something miles. I'm like, no, I haven't. I've gone 700 something miles. But anyway, 700, let's say 730, something like that. All in one day, and I'm not dying. I'm tired, my butt hurts, and I'm ready to go to bed, but I've had worse over shorter distances. So I think the bike definitely helps. The cruise control is really good, but I think really it's weather and traffic, cruise control, and weather all played a part in my being able to get here lucid and happy. And yeah, it doesn't really feel like much of an accomplishment, is it? It's just riding really far. So I rode really far today. Anyway, what'd you do?